Hello everyone and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I'm here outside Whiterun. We have officially completed everything that there is to do with the Companion's questline. I do have an inventory that's full of junk, so I gotta go deposit that off into Breeze Home, and then I'm gonna get Lydia once again as my companion, and we're gonna continue on with the main questline. We're gonna do the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Recording this on Wednesday. What's the date today? November 12th. Yeah. Probably won't come out for a few weeks, but that just gives you an idea of, how much time passes in between when I record things and when they actually go up on the channel. And it's a really nice day. It was snowing earlier, and then the snow kind of tapered off into like slush. Now the roads are all covered in that kind of gross early spring slop, even though it's not spring. But yeah, winter is officially here. Had the first snowfall in Montreal this past Sunday. Yeah, it's getting cold out there, which is the perfect time to be playing Skyrim when it gets cold and shitty. I mean, I say shitty, but honestly, I like the cold. I like winter. I kind of despise summer. Especially in Montreal. Like, Montreal is one of the southernmost areas in the entire country. Not the most southern, but in comparison to like where the border is with the United States and such, yeah, it's pretty south. And as such, the weather here in the summer just gets fucking brutal. Like, sometimes it's fucking untenable to live here, especially for someone like me who's from the East Coast. People from the East Coast are typically, we're more used to the cold weather, so when this time of year comes around, I just feel way more comfortable. Um, yeah.
As if didn't have enough outside.
Fuck off.
Now we've got mercenaries from Hammerfest.
Shut up with your racism, bro. I don't want that. Did what's her name leave my house yet? She better have. Yeah, okay, she's gone. Alright. Let's get rid of all my stuff. Put away 700 gold. Why not? I like to keep a little bit of a repository on me, just in case. Gonna put all this away. Wow, I have so much food. What the hell? I don't even remember picking up half of this stuff. Gonna put all these drinks away. Yes. Some soul gems. Alright. Got a bit of this stuff. I don't even know where I got half of this, but why do I have a wooden bowl in my inventory? I don't know. I probably accidentally picked that up somewhere. Got all these frostbite poisons. Frostbite venoms. What do I got for alchemy ingredients? I'm sure some of this I don't know the effects of. Black Rose. Ravage Magicka. Black Roses, really good Halloween horror movie, heavy metal horror movie. If you don't know it, it's pretty great. Green Leaf. Fortify Stamina. Ironwood Nuts. Restores Magicka. Jazzbay Grapes. Weakness to Magic. Persiflower. Fortify Stamina. Root Pulp. Cure Disease. Silver Flakes. Damage Stamina. Snake Venom. Lingering Damage Health. Oh boy. Vulgar Azra Root. Fortify Magicka. Okay. Oi. Okay, let's store the rest of this stuff. Eventually we'll come back and we'll do a big old alchemy uh, potion crafting session. That'll be fun. We'll raise some levels. Do I even have any jewelry? Probably a few things. Got a bandana, silver heart necklace, 10 quicksilver bracelets. Cool. Weapons. The lunar iron mace and lunar iron sword, that can go there. Do I have any notes? Oh, I can put... Oh, hey, Lydia.
Long life to you, Thane.
Follow me.
Lead the way.
Do you have anything in your inventory?
I'm right behind you. I am sworn to...
No, you don't.
Let's get going, then.
Put this shield in there. I don't have anything for that. And for this unique stuff, I got a fossilized bone fragment and a unique golden bowl. I missed these things somehow. Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, I can put the light armor forging book on this shelf because we read that. No, Notes of the Lunar Forge, that's what it was. Not light armor forging. Actually, you know what? Fuck, we'll do some reading because it's been a while since we've done that. We'll read a couple books, get some of those out of our inventory. So let's read Light Armor Forging first by Revis Sarvani. Okay, 1 second here. Just gotta open my notes real quick. And, okay, cool. Light Armor Forging. There are two classes of light armor, metallic and non-metallic. Elven and glass are examples of metallic light armor. You may be surprised to think that glass can be thought of as metallic, but appearances are deceiving. What we call glass is nothing like the window panes you see in houses. This rare crystalline material is far stronger and has a much higher melting point. Non-metallic armors can be made from hide or leather. For these armor types, the forger is as much tailor as blacksmith. Hide armors can be further strengthened by the careful placement of metal studs and rings. Leather can be hardened and made into more effective armors by boiling it in water. This process requires a skilled hand in order to get the timing and temperature just right. If boiled for too long, the leather may become overly brittle and crack when stressed. Leather can also be dyed for a greater variety. Iron can be used to dye leather black, while the roots from the creep cluster plant will create a red dye. For centuries, the secret of making elven armor was a closely guarded secret on Somerset Isle. Then the betrayal of Ulvul Laren brought it to the rest of Tamriel. Ulvul was a dark elf slave working the bellows for Nulion, master smith of the Isle from the 5th through the 7th century of the Second Era. When Ulvul escaped, he could think of no greater punishment to mete out to his cruel master than to reveal all his secrets to the world. Thus we came to know that moonstone is the key ingredient in elven armor, and that salt water must be used to quench the hot metal. True elven armor requires that quicksilver be melded into the moonstone. It melts at a much lower heat than moonstone, making it tricky to work the two metals together. The trickiest of all is glass. The green volcanic material that comprises glass is similar to ebony, but it is less durable and more lightweight. It requires a highly skilled glassmith to work the material. Hammer blows struck across the grain run the risk of shattering the armor. The armor also requires moonstone to bind the glass and to give it strength. When properly made, glass armor is much stronger than steel and can absorb and distribute great shocks. Cool. Let's read... The Lusty Argonian Maid, Volume 1? Sure. By Crassius Curio. Act 4, Scene 3, continued. Lifts her tail. Certainly not, kind sir. I am here but to clean your chambers. Crantius Colto. Is that an author stand-in? It probably is. Is that all you have come here for, my little one? My chambers? Lifts her tail. I have no idea what it is you imply, master. I am but a poor Argonian maid. Crantius Colto. So you are, my dumpling, and a good one at that. Such strong legs and shapely tail. Lifts her tail. You embarrass me, sir. Crantius Colto. Fear not, you are safe here with me. Lifts her tail. I must finish my cleaning, sir. The mistress will have my head if I do not. Crantius Colto. Cleaning, eh? I have something for you. Here, polish my spear. Lifts her tail. But it is huge. It could take me all night. Crantius Colto. Plenty of time, my sweet. Plenty of time. End of Act 4, Scene 3. Okay. Let's read The Locked Room. By Porbert Litumley. Yana was precisely the kind of student her mentor, Arth Camus, despised, the professional amateur. He enjoyed all the criminal types who were his usual pupils at the stronghold, from the common burglar to the more sophisticated blackmailers, children and young people with strong career ambitions which the art and science of lockpicking could facilitate. They were always interested in simple solutions, the easy way, but people like Yana were always looking for exceptions, possibilities, exotica. For pragmatists like Arth Camus, it was intensely vexing. The Redguard maiden would spend hours in front of a lock, prodding at it with her wires and picks, flirting with the key pins and driver pins, exploring the hull with a sort of casual fascination that no delinquent possesses. Long after her fellow students had opened their test locks and moved on, Yana was still playing with hers. The fact that she always opened it eventually, no matter how advanced a lock it was, irked Arth Camus even further. You are making things much too difficult, he would roar, boxing her ears. Speed is of the essence, not merely technical know-how. I swear that if I put the key to the lock right in front of you, you'd still never get around to opening it. Yana would bear Arth Camus' abuse philosophically. She had, after all, paid him in advance. Speed was doubtless an important factor for the picker trying to get somewhere he wasn't supposed to go with the city guard on patrol behind him, but Yana knew it wouldn't apply to her. She merely wanted the knowledge. Arth Camus did everything he could think of to encourage Yana to move faster. She seemed to perversely thrive on his physical and verbal blows, spending more and more time on each lock, learning its idiosyncrasies and personality. Finally, he could bear it no longer. Very late one afternoon, after Yana had dawdled over a perfectly ordinary lock, he grabbed the girl by her ear and dragged her to a room in the stronghold far from the other students, an area they had always been forbidden to visit. The room was completely barren, except for one large crate in the center. There were no windows and no other door except for the one leading in. Arth Camus slammed his student against the crate and closed the door behind her. There was a distinct click of the lock. "This is the test for my advanced students," he laughed behind the door. "See if you can escape." Yana smiled and began her usual slow process of massaging the lock, gaining information. After a few minutes had gone by, she heard Arth Camus' voice again, call out from behind the door. "Perhaps I should mention that this is a test of speed. You see the crate behind you? It contains a vampire ancient who has been locked in here for many months. It is absolutely ravenous. In a few minutes' time, the sun will have completely set, and if you have not opened the door, you will be nothing but a bloodless husk." Yana considered only for a moment whether Arth Camus was joking or not. She knew he was an evil, horrible man, but to resort to murder to teach his pupil? The moment she heard a rustling in the crate, any doubts she had were erased. Ignoring all her usual explorations, she jammed her wire into the lock, thrust the pegs against the pressure plate, and shoved open the door. Arth Camus stood in the hallway beyond, laughing cruelly. "So now you've learned the value of fast work." Yana fled from Arth Camus' stronghold, fighting back her tears. He was certain that she would never return to his tutelage, but he considered that he had taught her at last a very valuable lesson. When she did return the next morning, Arth Camus registered no surprise, but inside he was seething. "I'll be leaving shortly," she explained quietly, "but I believe I've developed a new type of lock, and I'd be grateful if you'd give me your opinion of it." Arth Camus shrugged and asked her to present her design. "I was wondering if I might use the vampire room and install the lock. I think it would be better if I demonstrated it." Arth Camus was dubious, but the prospect of the tiresome girl leaving at last put him in an excellent and even indulgent mood. He agreed to give her access to the room. For all morning and most of the afternoon she worked near the slumbering vampire, removing the old lock and adding her new prototype. Finally she asked her old master to take a look. He studied the lock with an expert eye and found little to be impressed with. "This is the first and only pick-proof lock," Yana explained. "The only way to open it is to have the right key." Arth Camus scoffed and let Yana close the door, shutting him in the room. The door clicked and he began to go to work. To his dismay, the lock was much more difficult than he thought it would be. He tried all his methods to force it and found that he had to resort to his hated student's method of careful and thorough exploration. "I need to leave now," called Yana from the other side of the door. "I'm going to bring the city guard to the stronghold. I know that it's against the rules, but I really think it's for the welfare of the villagers not to have a hungry vampire on the loose. It's getting dark, and even though you aren't able to unlock the door, the vampire might be less proud about using the key to escape. Remember when you said if I put the key to the lock right in front of you, you'd still never get around to opening it?" "Wait," Arthur yelled back. "I'll use the key. Where is it? You forgot to give it to me." But there was no reply, only the sound of footfall disappearing down the corridor beyond the door. Arthur began to work harder on the lock, but his hands were shaking with fear. With no windows, it was impossible to tell how late it was getting to be. Were minutes that were flying by or hours? He only knew that the vampire ancient would know. The tools could not stand very much twisting and tapping from Arthur's hysterical hands. The wire snapped in the keyhole, just like a student. Arthur screamed and pounded on the door, but he knew that no one could possibly hear him. It was while sucking in his breath to scream again he heard the distinct creak of the crate opening behind him. The vampire ancient regarded the master locksmith with insane, hungry eyes, and flew at him in a frenzy. Before Arthur died, he saw it. On a chain that had been placed around the vampire's neck while it had been sleeping was a key. Oh, Yana. You fucked that guy up. Alright, let me just see. I don't have light armor forging on here. We already read light armor forging. Damn it. Okay, well, whatever. That's fine. I'll just put it back. Let's see. The locked room. The lusty Argonian maid. Okay. Let's also read Harvesting Frostbite Spider Venom. My reserves of frostbite spider venom are nearly depleted. The injuries I suffered in the last encounter with these deadly arachnids prevent me from undertaking the task myself, which is why I've hired you. Collecting the venom of a frostbite spider is not a complicated task, but there is some risk involved. I've written this brief guide in the hope that you'll be able to avoid making some of the mistakes that I've made. Frostbite spiders most often make their lairs in caves. These creatures do not shun the icy climes of the north, but as their name implies, they are largely immune to the cold. When food is especially scarce, a spider will venture out to hunt prey in the wilderness. Usually, however, the eight-legged devils prefer to ambush those unfortunate creatures who venture into their caverns seeking shelter. The easiest way to locate a nest of frostbite spiders is to search for their large webs. Just take care not to get caught in one, for these webs are strong enough to trap a full-grown man. Once any part of you touches the sticky threads, it's nearly impossible to get free without help. Also, keep a watchful eye toward the ceiling. The frostbite spider is as stealthy as it is swift and can drop down onto your head and have its fangs in your back before you can scream. As long as you find the frostbite spider before it finds you, collecting the venom should be a simple matter. Because they rely on their webs to immobilize their prey, the creatures are not that difficult to kill in open combat. If you're inclined toward the arcane arts, don't bother with ice spells. Fire magic will serve you far better. With that, I will say farewell and good hunting. Remember, any loot that you find in the spider's web is yours to keep. The larger the hole, the larger the spider. Oh, we got a little drawing there at the end. That's nice. That's cute. I like that. We'll put that book here, too. I'm going to go put that copy of Light Armor Forging in my end table for safekeeping. And the Bound Sword Spell Tome as well. Cool. Alright, let's get on with it. Ustengrav. Okay, hold on. What's the quest say? After demonstrating my ability to learn words of power and to shout, the greybeard Arngir has sent me on a final trial, retrieving the horn of Jürgen Windcaller from his tomb in Ustengrav, a burial mound in the marshes of Hjalmarch. Ooh, we're going far north. Alright. You ready for this, Lydia? We're going on an adventure. Far to the north, in the outskirts of Morthal. And honestly, I'm thinking maybe what I'll do, since the quest is taking us out that way anyways, maybe we'll go visit Morthal and maybe get some quests out there. And then we'll bring the horn back afterwards. That would be nice. We've done pretty much everything there is to do in Whiterun. So, I mean, there's not really... Like, there are other quests later in the game, obviously, that are going to bring us back to Whiterun. And my home is there. We have Bree's home for storing our equipment and such. But I think it's time that we left the confines of Whiterun Hold and went out into some other areas, met some new people, got some new quests. Maybe get some new player homes as well. That would be nice too. Still experiencing some frame rate issues, but they're not nearly as bad as they used to be, so that's good. I did clean my computer, but I think it needs to be done again. I don't think I got all the dust out of it. But yeah. Come here, you butterflies.